Yo, what is going on, Comfy Gang? It's your boy Comfy Neat here. So I just wanted to make this quick video, I guess. Well, it's never gonna be quick because it's me. But yeah, I just wanted to make this quick video, basically to let you guys know that I'm still alive and doing as good as a NEET can do, as well as to I guess talk about talk more about my disappearance from the internet on the whole, why I do this, as well as my overall mental health currently. And yeah, as you can see from the title, basically I'm going to be talking about how I am turning into a reclusive hermit or a hikikomori, or I guess in a sense reverting back to this state, because I was sort of like this in the past before I made this channel, except now it's even worse for reasons which I'm about to get into. So basically the number one contributing factor, I guess before I was a hikikomori sort of more so because of social anxiety, but basically my fear of talking for people. But I sort of overcame that eventually by making this channel, and had a little bit of fun talking to people online. At least I overcame my fear of talking with people online to an extent. Obviously I'm still kind of afraid of talking to new people, but at least there's that. But this more recent reversion back to a hikikomori state is a little bit darker, unfortunately. And yeah, I want to talk about that. So yeah, basically what's sort of bringing it on this time is a combination of two things. The first thing would probably have to be my recent decline in energy levels and motivation. And I'm not really sure what brought this about. Some people say that you start to decline physically and mentally the moment you hit 25. So maybe this is some sort of psychosomatic thing, or maybe it actually is a sort of physiological change that's occurring in my body, which has caused me to lose energy and motivation, because it just feels like my energy went from like this and just all of a sudden just fell down this cliff, just completely fell off a cliff. And yeah, really rapidly within the span of months. Probably at the time I was binging anime, that's when it happened. And it definitely coincides with an event which happened during that period, which I'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, my energy has basically tanked, and it just feels like my testosterone plummeted, and probably from staying indoors too much and having a lack of outside stimulus, and not being exposed to any outside threats. I'm sure that probably has some negative effects on the body. But yeah, it just feels like my energy and motivation have all tanked. I'm finding less energy to work out. I don't work out as much anymore. I'm finding it harder to get started on a workout, let alone work out at all. Doing things like shooting videos has become harder. That's partially why you don't see me upload as much. Also, even just replying to comments, that's one big thing, by the way, I just wanted to talk about briefly, is that I might reply less to comments, just because I think one thing that's sort of making me scared to upload is this, maybe I've sort of placed this unnecessary expectation myself that I have to reply or to every single comment in my comment section, because that's what I've been doing since my channel started. And I'm sort of scared that the interactivity is what's driving me people to my channel, because obviously like my channel has a really unnatural views to subscriber ratio. And obviously me being the egotistical person that I am, like I actually do enjoy the views and stuff. Like it kind of is like the one little thing that I have going on for me, to be honest. So it's almost like a game like fantasy basketball, if you've ever played fantasy sports. except it's with YouTube. And YouTube is also like gamified it in a way where they put the upward green arrow when the views are high, and it's almost like I blame it on YouTube, but obviously it's my ego at play as well. Like, I like the views and stuff, and I'm kind of scared that if I don't, I was scared for a while that if I didn't reply to every single comment, then my viewership would tank, because my interacting with me was, I guess, in a way, a feature of my channel in a sense. But I think I might be doing that less, just because the sheer volume of comments coupled with my lack of motivation. But just know I will still read every single comment. It's just I'll probably respond to a lot with mostly like the hearts, and reply a lot less, which is, I guess, what I should have been doing from the start. But I don't know. I guess we'll see how that affects my channel. But anyways, that's besides the point. Yeah, even that, like, that's another example of my motivation decreasing. Like, I should, I guess, maybe be treating this as a full-time job, because this is like the one good thing that's going on for me, is that my tiny little channel. But yeah, and I guess this lack of motivation also applies to talking to people as well. Because of my ego and everything, I can't stop filtering. I make every single social interaction harder than it has to be for myself, mostly. I try to be nice. I try and be polite to people, and it's just the way I was raised, living in Asia, and living in collectivist society. This idea of saving face and preserving face, and being just putting up a front for other people. It really is the norm in Asia. It's not just a meme. And being raised and programmed that way, it's like I can't unlearn that. And all of a sudden, when you're in the West, where being yourself and being authentic and just saying your mind is valued over anything, it's just kind of like, it's hard for me. Like, and I know that people in the West are also, and I get a lot of people are two-faced, but I guess in a sense they let themselves, their real selves, through a little bit more, versus in Asia it's almost like you're like two completely compartmentalized identities. So because of that, me living that way and then transitioning here, it's like, yeah, like every social interactions are inherently difficult for me, and they always have been, but it feels like they're even harder over here. But even like on the internet, like, I don't know, it's like, it's almost like I can't be real with people, and therefore, it just feels like interacting socially is hard. But not saying that like my channel is fake or anything, like, but it's just more so like I'm like cherry picking parts of myself to show to the outside, as I would in real life, based on the way I was raised. I don't show all the hideousness and all the ugliness within me. Like, not like I'm like some fucking serial killer or anything, but like, I guess we'll see how real my channel gets. But yeah, aside from that, it makes socially interacting hard, and also just all the intricacies of human like interaction. Like, it almost feels like everyone is playing this game, and if you don't play the game, then people will ostracize you. Even NEETs, I find, like, you still have to play by the rules, you still have to keep on topic, you still have to do this and that, and it's just so tiring. And these things don't come automatically for me. Like, I have to think about what I say, because if I don't, then I violate these unspoken social rules, and all of a sudden, people mistreat you. They think they can pick on you. They think this and that. They just ignore you, or they, people, ignore you because you're not being quote unquote normal enough, and all these rules of social interaction. And that's just one part of it. And the other part, so that's basically my lack of motivation is making it harder and harder for me to play by these rules online and in real life, especially in real life, but even more so online. I guess that just speaks to how much my motivation is tanking. I can't even, act like a normal human being anymore. Like, am I lazy? Yes, I am lazy. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I am lazy. I am. But yeah, I don't think I was ever this lazy before, but yeah, that's one part of it. And the other thing that sort of broke me, which I alluded to before, this event that happened while I was binging anime, basically was me watching this wonderful anime called Neo Genesis Evangelion, and specifically the movie that was the finale, the real ending of it, called End of Evangelion. And I would say, if there was an anime that I wish I could unsee, that I don't regret seeing but wish I could unsee at the same time, it would probably be that anime, because I feel like, it just completely broke me in a way. Not in the sense of turning me to a degen like the Monogatari series did. Monogatari series, I can't fucking speak Japanese. But more in the sense that it just made me see the world for what it was, or at least think I see the world for what it is. And I could make an entire video talking about that movie specifically and giving my rationale for why it made me think the way it did. But it's just more so, I'll just give my TLDR version in this video, and it's hard to talk about. But yeah, basically, some people have mentioned that when they saw this movie, they saw some hope in Asuka reaching out to Shinji, spoiler alert. And yeah, they saw some hope in that, like this ability to reach out to other people, that we all have this longing and wanting desire to reach out to people, and through that commonality we can perhaps find some sort of shared experience in this shitty existence we call life. And that might be true, but I feel like the people who said that they saw this, they got some sort of hope out of this, were people who were nihilistic, and when they saw the movie, they saw hope in it. But then me, when I saw this movie, I was sort of like an improver at the time. I had these sort of ideas in my head, that all these sort of notions and pre-programming that I would one day be able to overcome my human nature, my proclivities towards procrastination and addiction and social isolation, and what's it called? All these sort of pathological behaviors that I engage in both internally and externally. I thought that one day I would overcome them all, and I would become this complete person. I would be able to hang with the normies, and I would be able to interact and be this sort of normal human being, have a wife and kids one day, or sleep around like some Giga Chad, and have lots of money and status and all that. Not that any of that's really important now that I've thought about it, but that's what I was thinking at the time. And then I saw this movie, and being this improver, it's all of a sudden I realized that, holy shit, like, human beings, at the end of the day, we have this goodness within it. It's not like I'm incapable of doing it. It's like there's no physical barrier preventing me from, at least achieving some things in life, maybe even overcoming my social anxiety and my possible Asperger's and all that. But it's not like I'm incapable of, achieving something resembling enlightenment. Even if I meditated enough, I could probably do it. There's nothing stopping me from meditating. There's nothing stopping me from talking to people. There's nothing stopping me. And yet I don't do these things that would help improve my life. I don't do these things. I could stop judging people. I could stop judging myself. And yet I don't stop judging. And that's because at the end of the day, human beings, that's the burden of human existence. The moment, Shinji strayed away from heaven, the moment he chose to opt out of human instrumentality, which is basically when you take psychedelics, you realize is actually the experience of nirvana or heaven. This is the state of mind that people seek out when they meditate, because it is in a sense this sort of unity that this lack of ego, no longer pursuing worldly shit, becoming one with each other, and being honest and open. It's like raw honesty, raw authenticity. What I'm saying probably doesn't make a lot of sense to people. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe this is just the ravings of a madman. But in a sense, in human instrumentality was heaven, and Shinji opted out of it because he thought he wanted to take on the burden of human existence. And what is the burden of human existence? It's this sort of cock tease where we are entirely capable of achieving what was in human instrumentality in real life, and yet the burden of human existence is that we will never do that. We will always opt towards the shittier version of what could be. We will always fucking, I'm shaking, by the way, like I can't even fucking talk about this shit, like, because it hurts. It honestly fucking hurts. Like, yeah, human beings will always we will always be slaves to our biological programming. We're to biological determinism, to Darwinian evolution, to natural selection, and beyond that to the deepest recesses of our psychology, which are a product of evolution. We like to pretend that we are these sort of humanistic, evolved, higher intelligent beings, when in reality even the psychological literature currently agrees that at the end of the day we are mostly activated actors. We are these stimulus response machines who rationalize our almost automatic behaviors through our cognition, but even our cognition is in a sense is automatic, because it's all meant to protect our egos and all these things. We are mostly NPCs. Everybody's an NPC. I am an NPC, and I can't undo this programming. I'm stuck. I'm just a bunch of ones and zeros. And is it possible? I'm not saying that it's impossible to overcome this. There are people who overcome their programming, and these people come to be known as the enlightened, as saints, as prophets, as visionaries. They actually do things. They actually make the world a better place, and they actually achieve some sort of contentment, some sort of happiness. But it just seems like the most people who claim to achieve this are actually just engaging a lot of self-deception and mental masturbation. And because at the end of the day, most people will never achieve this. And what did I expect? I thought that I was different. I thought that I was the exception. And lo and behold, watching that series made me realize that no, I'm not the exception. No, I'm just another NPC, essentially. I'm just another tool in another man's machine. Even just opting out and being NEET, it's not like I'm opting out of the system. I still consume other people's products. I still consume food. I still binge the internet. I still give Google and all of these various mechanisms that pervade society. I still allow them to function. So me opting out of society isn't actually me opting out of society. I'm still a cog in the machine, just in a different way. At least I'm a comfortable cog in a machine, but I'm still a fucking cog in a machine. And yeah, so I think that's basically my TLDR version conclusions that I drew from End of Evangelion. But yeah, you could see how something like that could break me. And these conclusions, that I drew about myself and humanity, they extend to human interaction as well, because at the end of the day, we all have egos. We all have, that we all want to protect. We all have, nobody can let their AT fields down. I'm obviously referencing the movie, the walls between our hearts or our souls, the thing that keeps us, prevents us from truly connecting with one another. Maybe I'm just projecting, but it just seems like most people in this world, we can't let down these fields. And even if we can let these walls down temporarily, we end up putting them back up. Maybe we might take some drugs, or, maybe we might have these sort of heartfelt connections in moments of natural disaster, or whatever, fucking in an earthquake, everybody gets together and all that nice and sweet stuff. 2 days later, everybody forgets about it. Everybody's back to, fending for themselves and being greedy and only looking out for themselves. And, even all the philanthropy and, generosity, a lot of it is self-serving. I don't feel like sometimes it just feels like I'm not a genuinely nice person. I try and be nice, but it's all programming. I mean, that's the honest truth. If someone tells me they're suicidal or they're hurting, I try and say things to make them feel better. Some of it is from the goodness of my heart, but some of it is also self-serving. I don't know where it begins and where it ends. And yeah, I can't, and yeah, so there's that. And then everybody has their egos, and everybody's competing. We can't cooperate. Everybody's competing for mates to pass on their genetics. People like to pretend like that doesn't exist, but it's always there in the background. Even if we like to pretend like it doesn't exist, it's always there in the background, underlying every single interaction. I'm not going to say exactly how, because I don't know, fucking people, they don't want to accept the truth, and they're going to fucking hate me if I tell the truth. But yeah, it's always there in the background, and I guess I'm too much of a coward to tell the truth as well. And you see, that's the shittiness of human nature. I can't forgo my ego. I can't be vulnerable. And yeah, this is probably a really scatterbrained video. I apologize, but I'll try and, I haven't done this in a while, but maybe I think it's good that people see this side of me. Maybe this might be a complete disaster, but I guess that's what experiments are for. But there's always this sort of competition, and people are always poking. The moment you're too kind to people, then people think they can step all over you, and then it's like the striking this balance. And then man, like, I don't want to fucking deal with that shit. Like, I don't know, like it's not like I haven't talked to good people out there, but just look at all the people who have had their lives ruined by Discord, and it's like, and YouTube, fucking Christian, all the lol cows are essentially people. It's not like they ruined their lives themselves. The fucking people on the internet made their lives miserable in equal parts. They fan the flames, they torment. I'm not saying that people who watch my videos are like that, but there have been a few people who've already expressed that sort of behavior towards me. And I knew what the right thing to do was in those instances, like maybe one or two people, but they're bound to keep on coming. And it just feels like, friends can turn into enemies at any moment. Like, you just see it in every single YouTuber and all this fucking drama, all this fucking beef. And I'm not perfect. I'm not this, you know, I do cherry pick parts of my personality. It's not like it's fake, but it's like the good part of me. I only show the good part of me. It's because, you know, people there are savages on the internet, and people can turn nice, to mean at the flip of a switch, and disagreements, people can't agree to disagree, and just all these sorts of things that all come together that make it just makes me feel like staying alone is the safer option. And in some sense, I began to feel more comfortable alone than with other people. And this entire applies to real life just as much as it does on the internet. But I think that would explain a lot of my behavior. Like, so many examples of people getting shit on by the internet, and for me not to get shit on, for people not to get it shit on, you can't be too real, but you also can't be too fake. And it's like, it's hard. Like, that coupled with my decreasing motivation, it just, man, and I'm sure that if I was World War III happened, I'm sure if I grew up in some third world country and then all of a sudden came across all these privileges, I'm sure that this wouldn't have, maybe it wouldn't have happened. Maybe I would have ended up normal. I know I'm privileged. Like, I know that. You don't have to tell me. I am completely and utterly privileged, and I don't know why. Like, but just the fact is, I grew up sheltered. I didn't grow up in abject poverty. I didn't, I was only bullied a bit. I wasn't bullied too much. But obviously that leaves my inherent personality, which leads me to my last point, is that there was this chart that I saw where it basically showed how hikikomoris develop, and it's basically this combination of environmental fact, basically epigenetics in a way. It was this complex diagram how one thing leads to the next, but it's basically this idea that hikikomoris tend to have low tolerance to suffering, self-judgment, all these sorts of attributes, and I seem to have all those. And then coupled with I have felt ostracized all my life. I have felt like this sort of laughing stock all my life. I have felt stupid and looked down upon my entire life. And is it all in my head? Maybe, but I have reason to believe these things. And then I've also felt gaslit, like people tell me that what I'm experiencing isn't true, when I can point at the evidence. These are all things I can talk about in future videos. But yeah, like, if I ever make any, but I honestly plan to keep the channel going. It's just, at least until I get my bearings, I'll probably be uploading a little more inconsistently. I have a video in the back uploaded that I haven't made public because, well, I don't know, I was afraid of the comments, but I'll make it public in a bit, like maybe in a few days. But yeah, like, what I was saying is, like, yeah, I lost my train of thought. I don't know anymore. I need to rewatch what I just said to continue this. Sorry, yeah, so I was talking about the hikikomori chart, but yeah, basically, yeah, so because of those two factors, my predispositions to being a hikikomori, and all that, and the things I've experienced in life, it just has led me down this path. And I think that's all I wanted to say anyways. This video was pretty long, but yeah, it just feels like I was destined to be this way from the start. And yeah, I really lost my train of thought anymore. I'm out of the flow of things. So but I don't even know what to say anymore. I'm probably gonna end the video anyways. Yeah, this is probably gonna be one of my darker videos, but yeah, I'll try and upload some more neutral sounding stuff at least in a bit. But this is just an honest update, I guess, if you will, of my current mental state, my current thoughts, what I've been thinking about a lot recently, and the reasons why I've trended towards being more reclusive, turning away from people and just being by myself. That's gonna be it for today. Anyways, this is Company signing out, and peace.